Picture this. It is late at night. The house is quiet. You are lying in bed or sitting on the couch, ready to finally relax. Suddenly, the silence is broken by a frantic, rhythmic scratching sound. You look over. Your dog is absolutely destroying your expensive memory foam mattress. Or maybe they are tearing at the living room carpet like they are trying to dig a tunnel straight to the center of the earth. They spin around, scratch some more, let out a deep sigh, and finally collapse into a tiny donut shape. If you were like most dog owners, you have probably watched this bizarre pre-sleep ritual and wondered what on earth is going through their head. You might have even thought your dog is just being destructive. A lot of people think this behavior is a sign of a bad habit. They think the dog is trying to ruin the furniture or that they are simply acting crazy. That is the biggest myth in the dog world. Your dog is not trying to annoy you. They are not trying to destroy your duvet. What you are witnessing in your living room is one of the most fascinating phenomena in evolutionary biology. You are watching an ancient, primeval survival script play out in real time. To understand why your sweet, pampered house dog suddenly turns into an obsessive excavator right before bed, we have to look past the carpet. We have to look deep into the wild ancestry of the canine mind. Ethologists, the scientists who study animal behavior, classify this pre-sleep preparation as a fixed action pattern. A fixed action pattern is a deeply ingrained instinctive behavioral sequence. Once this sequence is triggered in the brain, it has to run to completion. The animal cannot just stop halfway. Thousands of years ago, before orthopedic dog beds and climate-controlled houses existed, wild wolves and early free-ranging dogs had to survive in harsh, unforgiving environments. They had to build safe resting places. Digging, scratching, and rearranging the dirt and leaves were the central components of preparing a secure den or a safe birthing site. When your dog claws at your bed today, they are essentially running this exact same ancient neural program. The software in their brain is screaming at them to dig a safe den. The software still runs flawlessly on autoplay, even though the hardware they are digging into is now a synthetic blanket. They are literally performing a substrate mismatched version of an ancestral den-building loop. A landmark 2016 study by the Indian Statistical Institute followed unowned, free-ranging urban dogs to see how they behaved when left to their own devices. The researchers found that these wild street dogs did not just sleep anywhere. They actively searched for, tested, and rejected multiple resting sites before finally settling down. Preparing the den is a highly calculated, deliberate process. Your dog scratching the carpet is not a quirky accident. It is a deeply ingrained survival instinct playing out right in front of your eyes. But building a den is only the first piece of the puzzle. Why do they specifically need to scratch and dig at the surface they sleep on? The answer comes down to a matter of life and death in the wild: thermoregulation. In the wild, the ground is not flat, and the temperature is never perfect. Wild canids use digging as a highly effective temperature control strategy. During the blistering heat of summer, a wolf or a wild dog will dig away the sun-baked topsoil to expose the cool, damp earth underneath. In the freezing winter, they dig shallow depressions to block the freezing wind and create an insulated hollow that traps their own body heat. A massive behavioral study from researchers in Kolkata analyzed how free-ranging dogs choose their resting places. They discovered that canine resting behavior is tightly linked to seasonal thermoregulatory needs. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to tiny thermal differences in their environment. So when your pet dog fiercely claws at the living room rug, they are executing a hardwired microclimate adjustment program. Their brain is telling them to scrape away the hot dirt or dig a warm snow hole, even if your modern indoor flooring does not actually change temperature when they scratch it. And it goes deeper than just temperature. They are also leaving a message. Scratching the bed is an invisible chemical signature. You see, dogs possess specialized scent glands located right inside their paw pads. When they frantically dig and scratch at a surface, they are not just moving fabric around, they are actively pressing their unique chemical scent into the ground.
In wild canids, dens and resting sites are saturated with the resident animal scent. This acts as an invisible force field, a territorial and social marker that tells other predators that this sleeping spot is taken. When your dog shreds the couch cushions, they are autographing the bed. They are claiming it. Even if they are the only dog in the house and there are absolutely no rivals to worry about, that internal biological drive to mark and remark their core resting site is always running in the background. You have also probably noticed that the digging almost never happens on its own. It is almost always paired with your dog walking around in tight circles before they finally flop down. Ethologists point out that circling and digging actually occur together as a complete nesting ritual package. Researchers summarizing canine behavior data conclude that pre-sleep circling and digging are components of a single inherited behavioral program. In the wild savanna or the dense forest, circling serves a highly specific purpose. It flattens tall grass, crushes uncomfortable twigs, and most importantly, it drives out dangerous pests like snakes or scorpions that might be hiding in the brush. When your dog spins around 3 times, scratches the carpet, and then sighs as they lie down, you are watching a multi-step fixed action pattern. They are carefully sculpting a wild survival bed right in the middle of your living room. This survival bed is crucial for one main reason. Canine sleep is not like human sleep. A dog does not just turn their brain on and off. Researchers tracking healthy adult dogs with accelerometers have found that canine sleep relies on very predictable activity and rest cycles. Pre-sleep behaviors like pacing, repositioning, and nest making are critical transitional steps into deeper consolidated sleep. In wild environments, creating a perfect nest reduces outside disturbances and protects against sudden environmental threats. Digging its soft surfaces before lying down is actually a sleep quality optimization behavior. Your dog is setting the stage for deep REM sleep. But there is a twist to this behavior that most pet owners never realize. Sometimes the digging reaches an absolute fever pitch. It becomes frantic, obsessive, and almost impossible to stop. Why does this happen? The answer lies in maternal instinct. In female dogs, especially those experiencing pregnancy or false pregnancy, nest-building behaviors absolutely explode. We are talking about intense digging, frantic scratching, and carrying blankets from room to room. Field studies on wild wolves describe how pregnant females dramatically increase their digging and den modification 5 to 21 days before giving birth. The exact same motivational hormone systems that drive a wild female wolf to excavate an elaborate underground birthing cave are running in your dog. When hormonal states mimic pregnancy, an indoor dog will obsessively scratch at blankets to build a puppy bunker. This means your dog's nightly carpet massacre might be a slightly diluted expression of intense maternal nesting circuitry. This happens even if your dog is spayed. It happens even if they never have puppies. The hardware is there, and the software still runs. Genetics also turn up the volume on this behavior. If you own a terrier or an earth dog, you know exactly what I am talking about. Humans selectively bred certain types of dogs for tunneling, burrowing, and hunting prey inside dark underground dens. By doing this, we accidentally supercharged their digging instincts. Breeds like Dachshunds and Jack Russell Terriers show highly amplified scratching behaviors around resting and play. We took an ancient painted survival tool and genetically magnified it, making their pre-sleep digging 10 times more intense than a typical retriever. But here's the most mind-blowing part of all. You might think it is sad that your dog is trapped inside, trying to dig a wild den in a synthetic carpet. You might think they belong out in nature. You would be wrong. Denning around humans is actually an evolved survival strategy. Evolutionary ecologists have found that free-ranging urban dogs deliberately choose to den and rest very close to humans. They seek out spaces under our staircases and inside the recesses of our buildings. They do this even though humans can be a significant threat. They trade a little bit of risk for incredible access to our discarded food and our unnatural shelter. Your house is not a prison to your dog. In evolutionary terms, your living room has become one of the safest dens on planet Earth. Your home is the ultimate macro den. When your dog digs at their bed, they are micro-customizing a resting site inside that macro den. They are executing the final step of turning your shared human space into a highly personalized, invincible survival bunker.
So most of the time, this frantic bed digging is a beautiful, totally normal expression of ancient wild instincts. It is thermoregulation, scent marking, sleep preparation, and evolutionary adaptation all rolled into one quick nightly ritual. But you do need to pay attention, because sometimes digging is a distress signal. Normal bed digging is very brief. It is a highly ritualized step right before they fall asleep. However, when the digging becomes prolonged, frantic, or happens repeatedly at random times of the day, it stops being a sleep ritual. Animal behaviorists and welfare organizations warn that excessive digging can be a giant red flag for underlying anxiety, over-arousal, or a severe lack of mental enrichment. When a dog is highly stressed or frustrated, digging transforms into a displacement behavior. A displacement behavior is a repetitive motor action that helps the animal cope with internal psychological stress. It is the canine equivalent of a human nervously biting their fingernails or pacing back and forth in a waiting room. Studies on dog welfare explicitly link abnormal repetitive behaviors like constant scratching and repositioning to chronic stress and indoor confinement. If your dog is digging holes through your mattress in the middle of the afternoon and refuses to settle down, they are not building a den. They are crying out for more exercise, more mental stimulation, or relief from a deeply stressful environment. But if they do it just for a few seconds before collapsing into a deep, happy sleep, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. You are simply watching the ghost of a wild wolf preparing a safe bed in the forest. You are watching thousands of years of survival evolution unfold right on top of your favorite blanket. Let them dig, let them spin. They are just making sure the den is safe for the pack. I want to hear from you. What breed is your dog, and what is the craziest thing they have ever destroyed while trying to dig their perfect pre-sleep den? Let me know down in the comments right now. If you found this evolutionary deep dive fascinating, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the hidden psychology of your pets. In our next video, we are going to uncover the shocking biological reason why dogs follow you into the bathroom. You will not want to miss it. I will see you next time.